So First Lady Jill Biden has invited Kate Cox to the State of the Union address. Kate Cox was the mother in Texas who was in need of an abortion and couldn't get one, so she had to leave Texas to get the reproductive care that she needs. I think this is a really good move by Jill Biden to invite her there. I think Kate Cox needs to be set in front and center, and I think the focus needs to be on her, because I don't think that a lot of people out there realizes just how serious Roe versus Wade being overturned is, and the serious effects that it's now having on women and the people in this country that has to deal with this. I don't think people understands just how serious this thing is. I think it happened and they all pumped their fist and they all celebrated because, hey, this is something we've been fighting for years, and they thought it was some sort of victory, but it's not. This is one of the biggest travesties that our country has ever faced. And this is one of the biggest assault on women's rights that's ever been in this country. And for the party that likes to say, don't tread on me, and for the party that likes to say, we want less government in our lives, you open the door for the government to step right in, not just to the women's lives, but to your lives too. Because Representative Zachary Taylor here in Tennessee has introduced a travel ban. Abortion trafficking, they want to call it. If you was to take a minor, a teenager, out of the state to get reproductive care, you could be arrested. And not just if you took them out of state. You could also be arrested for giving them gas money to go. You could be arrested for sending them a link to an abortion clinic, for aiding them in any way. Parents can now sue parents. If you're divorced, say the woman takes the daughter across state lines to get reproductive care, the husband can now sue. That's how out of hand this has all gotten. And now, this is not only affecting the women. I know I got to talk to the dudes here, but this could be your daughter in desperate need. And now she can't get the help she needs, and you can't do it either. So I think it's high time you take that damn "don't tread on me" flag and you throw it in the damn garbage. Because they have treaded on all of us at the end of the day. They've treaded on everybody with this. And for years, this was a single issue to voters. To some voters out there, they would vote solely on this issue. I knew people who said out loud, I go to the polls, and whoever is against abortion is who I vote for. Well, guess what? That had them voting Republican. And I was naive. And I've talked to a lot of people who can agree with me and say we were naive in thinking that this was all just a wedge issue and a scare tactic from Republicans, that they would never actually do it. That this was just an issue that tugged at people's heartstrings. It would tug at the Christians' heartstrings, and they would all run out and vote Republican. We never really thought this would happen. But here we are. It happened, and they're taking it a step further, and they're going to go further and further with it. And this is not the country that we were ever set out to live in. This is not freedom. Women's rights have never been assaulted more. And if they could make that a single issue for all those years and vote for Republicans all those years on that one single issue, then I think it's high time that we do the same now. That we look at this and we go, wait a minute. We've got Joe Biden versus the guy who's out here bragging. Donald Trump is out there bragging about overturning Roe versus Wade. When he stacked the Supreme Court the way he did, that's why we're in this mess, and he's bragging about it. Kate Cox is suffering, and there's women in this country suffering while Donald Trump brags about it. So if Republicans could go to the polls for years and vote on that one issue that they wanted to overturn so bad, then I think we could do the same and go stand up for the women in this country and vote on that one issue. Do I agree with Joe Biden on every single issue? No, that's not normal. Okay, for all the Trump supporters who agrees with every ounce of verbal diarrhea that shoots out of his mouth, that ain't normal. Okay, none of it's normal. It's not normal to agree with Joe Biden on everything. I don't expect anyone to. And you're allowed to get mad at him. You're allowed to disagree with him all day long. You're allowed to say sucks. You don't have to say let's go Brandon. You can say fuck Joe Biden. You can say it out loud. But this is what you got. You got Joe Biden versus the guy out here bragging about putting us in this mess. And for the guys out there that's like, well, it ain't that big a deal. It's going to be a big deal when it's your daughter that needs help and you're standing there at her bedside and you can't figure out what the hell to do. I never thought we would be here at this point in America. You know, for years they would always say, this is the most important election we've ever had. I got so tired of hearing that. I go, yeah, we've heard that every year. And I used to get tired of hearing it. Whenever they would say that, I go, oh, God, here we go again. Most important election of our lifetime. But this go around, we've got this on the table. We've got democracy on the table. We got a dude wanting to be a dictator on the table. That's how far this whole MAGA bit done got out of hand. So if you're not sitting there and you're not going out there and you're not learning about Kate Cox and you're not actually educating yourself on what's happening to the women in this country and what could happen to you if you decide to help the women in this country, then it's time you wake up. Hunter Biden's laptop does not mean jack shit in the grand scheme of things. It does not matter. When you're sitting there at the bedside of your daughter, you're not going to be thinking about Hunter Biden's laptop. You're not going to be thinking about her emails. You're not going to be thinking about Joe stuttering. You're going to be going, oh, damn, what did I do? Well, you supported a dude that stacked the Supreme Court, and that's why you're in this mess. It's really hard for me to talk about this because I now have a daughter that if she decides to have another child, she will not have the same rights that my mother had when she had me. And I thought when I was growing up in this country that we would continue to progress and move forward. Until the ones that says, stick your progress up your ass, no. Stick your closed-minded, narrow-minded, conservative bullshit right square up your ass. And quit holding society back and quit trampling upon the women of this country. I will never take nothing they say seriously again until they put one hand on each ear, jerk your head out of your ass, and wake up to what's really happening.